It's Dr. Lori. I'm at Urban Renewal Consignment in Marietta, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, talking about designer handbags. Gucci is the Florence-based family out of Italy that starts their high-end leather goods firm. That particular family, in the middle part of the 20th century, they started. That particular family creates some of the best known and most desirable pieces. Here is a Gucci bag. This Gucci bag, in fact, is one that does go with the newer Gucci pieces. And on the interior, if we take out some of the stuffing, here's the logo, and it of course says where it's made. I don't think this piece has ever really been out of the bag or worn much at all. I think it might be almost new in terms of its condition, because it's still wrapped the way Gucci would actually wrap it. They actually will put these tissue paper pieces in to make sure that these pockets don't get misshapen. Notice how this is perfect, how the textile relates and meets the leather. Notice also, sure, the Gucci design, right? The double G's, the Gucci here, and then also look at hardware. Now this, I remember when they started doing this is how old I am. When they started doing this, they give you a little area you can throw a pen down in your pocketbook. I always thought that was a bad idea, but they didn't complete this. They didn't complete putting the zipper up against this particular area of leather. I always thought, oh, they should complete that. They should complete that. So here's the zipper, and look at the zipper, and look at the, now, it still has the original Gucci plastic over the zipper, which is why I really think this piece has not been touched, probably not even looked at much. So they probably bought it, or it was a gift, and then they didn't care for it much. And then there's the Gucci logo here. There's the Gucci logo here at this end, too. The fakes don't do that. The fakes don't do this attention to detail stuff as much. So this piece also, I will say, is very popular in the late 90s to the early 2000s because it's going to go over the shoulder. So it just tucks right under, sort of, I don't know, would hide, so it goes right under. So a lot of people really enjoy that particular style because it's sort of an uplifted crossbody. It's right under your shoulder. It has the original hardware and also a little tassel. And that piece is typical of Gucci shoes. You see this piece on Gucci handbags. You see it on many of their leather pieces throughout. Gucci also had the very famous red and green textile decoration that the designers used for a long, long time. That doesn't have this. Sometimes with the beige pieces, the pieces that are brown and beige, sometimes they'll add that little spark for Gucci. Remember, the bag is included, so I would always ask about the bag. A lot of people also, of course, when you're thrifting, the negotiation, you want to be polite if you're going to negotiate. And you may want to point out if a bag is not there, gee, you don't have the bag. Maybe they'll give you a little bit of a discount that way. But for the most part, what you want to look for is the authentic characteristics. So that's on the hardware, that's what kind of stitching are you seeing, and is it in good condition. You want to see the materials. You always want to see where the bag was made, what country was it made in, and if there's any authentication credentials, serial numbers, or particular questions about the logo. Because if there's a question about anything, it shouldn't be about the logo. The logos have to be correct. They're not going to mess up a logo if they are the authentic company making these particular pieces. But now you know what to look for. And what's cool about Urban Renewal is they also have an online presence. So you could go online and purchase some of these pieces. This piece, it's like brand new, is $9.89. So here's what they're charging for what is a new Gucci logo and leather. I think it's like brand new, hasn't been touched. Now, it's been sitting in a closet for a long time, but it really hasn't been used at all. Didn't really come out of the box. Almost didn't even come out of the box to be used at all. Value on this is about $2,500 today because this one's perfect. So that price, I probably would say, oh, that's a great price for that too. So I got some real bargains for you here. These are beautiful, and they're right here. I'm leaving them here for you. Not that easy for me. I'm leaving them here for you. The very typical Chanel quilted pouch. So this is the quilted pouch, and it's got a lot going for it. Of course, it's in very good shape. You know, leather over time gets old and you really have to prepare it. The oils on your hands, this is why I always wear the gloves. The gloves are to protect the objects that I'm handling from the oils on my hands, which can attract dirt and deteriorate the object. So a lot of people who are touching objects all the time know enough to wear gloves. I learned this in museums a million years ago, but this particular piece, and particularly leather, will take on those oils. Even if you don't see them immediately, those oils could be left behind and then start to deteriorate a piece of leather later. So this piece, really nice. We're going to open up this zipper with the great tassel. I like tassels. I like the tassel. Also characteristic of Chanel, you probably all know, is the woven ribbon. So you have the metal, and then you have the woven ribbon that goes through the metal in the same leather color, in the same color leather as the pouch itself. So this one also has the logo on the tassel. And notice how shiny the gold coating is. Not to be confused with gold plating. This is gold toned metal. And that's very characteristic of later pieces. You know, this certainly isn't a 1970s Karl Lagerfeld design. So you're looking at this, and then here's what I really like to see. I like to see the bags, the matching bags that come with these pieces. And in this time period, they had these bags that were felt. You also could see cotton bags depending on the designer maker. And as you come in, here's your Chanel card. So there's authentication cards as well that come with these pieces. And then also inside, here's your logo from Chanel. Now remember, at certain time periods, the Chanel logo will have the R registration mark. At other times, it will just say Chanel. But the logo will always be the same. It will always be the very straightforward uppercase Chanel written out. Notice the matching color of the zipper even on the interior for this small little case. And then, by law, has to say where it was made. And here's made in Italy on the other side. So the great Italian leather tradition is continued with this. Look at the size of the diamonds that are quilted. And as I told you, and I keep telling you, it's all about the stitching. The stitching, the decorative element around, the piping, and also how the basics are done. So how does the zipper end and how does it meet this side? How do the diamonds on the side look? Are they actually even in between this piping and that piping? So that's very important too. A lot of people wouldn't notice that, but that's one of the things that sort of warrant these high-end pieces to be so expensive, because they're paying attention to these kinds of details. Okay, let's talk about price. $793.99. This piece is worth 600 bucks, right? However, not easy to get, and again, in very good condition. But this piece, I might go as high as $650, but based on sales records, you're going to see about $600 is the going rate today, based on today's economy, for a piece like this. A lot of people like these small pieces. Some people would use it also in the way that people are using wristlets, right? Those small bags. But really, you know what you're paying for mostly? You're paying for, of course, the Chanel name and the quality that goes along with it. And I think, and the tassel really will increase value a whole lot too, because a lot of these would have this lost by this point. I want to remind you that this has a value too, because a lot of these would be priced at this particular number without the bag. So the bag is sort of like a 2-for-1 type of piece. So I don't know if that justifies an extra 150 bucks, but I would say that this particular piece really is quite beautiful, in great shape, and I'll tell you, somebody will fall in love with it probably and come in and get it, but it's really nice. Chanel. Phone cases. Now, I never did this because I have too much junk in my purse that has to be with me. A lot of stuff. So I can't just go, oh, I'm so sleek that I could just put my phone and a credit card and I'm good. I can't do it, but I do think this is really pretty. A couple things that a lot of the designers do is they mimic other designers. So this is Tory Burch, very characteristic and a really good logo, I think. Tory Burch, new onto the scene in the early 2000s. Strong onto the scene in the early 2000s. Beautiful condition, I mean, looks like new. A lot of little pockets to put items in, and of course it's for the phone. But the phones change size and style. I will tell you, I have a phone case, a very old phone case from the 90s, and it's so big because the phones are so much bigger. But anyway, so they'll change in size, so that's one of the things. But one of the things that many of the designers do, they mimic some of the characteristic aspects of other designers. This wrapped ribbon in between the metal links is Chanel. Chanel did that for years and continues to do that, but that's one of the things that Tory Burch, let's call it, borrowed from Chanel. So let's see about prices. They want $110 for the phone case. I know these are popular, just like the wristlets are popular. $110 for this piece, probably just about retail. Now remember, consignment shops are a little different than other types of thrift stores. While the prices are lower, they have to take into consideration their consignee and what they're going to give back to those folks. But condition is really important, and it's in beautiful shape. It looks like new. So I would say that's just about retail. Stay tuned. There's more to come from Urban Renewal Consignment in Marietta, Georgia.